Welcome everyone. This is Kay Aubrey Shemaine. I'm the owner and director of Grand Adventures Ranch, a holistic equine wellness center in Sonoyta, Arizona. And this is our weekly webinar, the Always Shine Your Light Equine Energy Point Education Series, where we talk about photopuncture, which is acupuncture with light, and light therapy and equine energy points in general. And we often talk about photopuncture being like carrying a variety of therapists with you. With the light, we can get the benefits of acupuncture, massage, chiropractic, T-touch, magnets, light therapy, and even medicines like herbs and pharmaceuticals. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the comparison between photopuncture and equine massage. And the reason I talk about this is I'm a very lazy person. I like to find the absolute easiest way to get something done for the best results. And I'm a businesswoman. I want to be able to make enough money to keep myself and my horses fed, but also to be able to help as many horses in a day as I possibly can. So both photopuncture and massage have a lot of benefits. I am certainly a huge advocate of equine massage. I have total respect for anybody who does it as a living. I just happen to choose the photopuncture method because I'm a lazier and more practical person and it fits my lifestyle. So here on the left we have both the scanning of a horse with a photopuncture wand and then treating with the lights, as opposed to the manual manipulation that we see on the right. So equine massage and photopuncture have a lot of benefits. They help to enhance muscle tone and range of motion. They reduce inflammation and swelling in the joints. They stimulate circulation that increases the flow of nutrients to the muscles and aids in carrying away excessive fluids and toxins, and just creates an overall positive effect on the contracting and expanding and release of the muscles. So you release tension and you relax the muscles overall. So overall body assistance. And you can do that manually through equine massage, or you can do it with the lights and have just the same relaxation of the muscles, the increased circulation, the improved nutrients, as well as the other benefits that come from working with the acupuncture points. So there are a couple of downsides of equine massage, or times when you can't use them at least. You can't use them on fresh wounds. If a horse is in great pain, the last thing you want to do is to be pressing on wounds. Certainly you can massage other parts of the body if the horse will relax enough, but you're limited. It also may cause pain when applied to very tight muscles or trigger points, very sore areas. So you have to be very good at it, and you have to spend quite a bit of time working up to getting the full release. But primarily it can be very labor intensive, which was where my laziness comes in. I'm not going to work that hard to do 4, 5, 6 horses a day. I physically couldn't. I think going back to my massage days, where I am now in my life, I might be able to massage 3 horses a week. And that's just not enough for the level of horses that we work with. Whereas with photopuncture, we get the benefits of massage and more. We can use it directly on fresh wounds to stimulate granulation and healing and circulation to the area. It actually will provide pain relief. You can use it to sedate pain. There is some bending and kneeling, but very little physical effort so that I don't get as exhausted. And I can easily scan and treat 4 to 6 horses a day or more in a show situation where I'm just doing quick scans. And if I'm just treating with the lights and know where I'm going, simply treating, you can do even more. So that's just a quick and dirty comparison and the explanation of how photopuncture and equine massage provide similar benefits, but why I choose photopuncture. And if you want to know more, please check out our website at photopuncture.com. So I want to open it up to the floor if anybody has any comments. Oops. I hope I haven't just offended any equine massage therapists, because that is not my intent. I love massage. I just can't keep it up. That's my physical limitation. Do we have any massage therapists on the call? We have people dinging in and out. Can you guys hear me?
Well, Kay, I used to do massage.
We can hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who used to do massage?
MJ.
Oh, hi.
And that's kind of how I started on this path and this journey to where I am now with the photopuncture and the lights. And I agree that it is very labor intensive. But also what I found was a lot of horses don't like to be massaged because, and I'm just guessing the whole prey animal instinct comes into that when you start trying to go at them with your hands. Some of them just can't relax enough to enjoy it.
And I have found that there are a number of people, myself included, I am very energy dominant. If I come up at a horse and I've got full Reiki on and I'm just pushing energy out, there are a lot of horses that are just going to turn away. They are so sensitive. They're just like, no, you are not going to push me around with all that energy. And we have one horse on our place that the owner became a Reiki practitioner because of the horse needed care so much. And she was so frustrated because she'd show up to give the horse energy and the horse would walk away from her. But if she'd just sit down and aim her body away from the horse would come stand right next to her and take all the energy. But she couldn't give it to her directly. And I do think that a lot of times that exactly what you're saying, and the massage therapist is for not just physically imposing, but energetically imposing. Diane McClary, you're also a massage therapist, if I remember correctly?
No.
No. Okay, I guess I was remembering incorrectly. Sorry. Anybody else?
I am interested in bionomy. I have a friend who practices it, and I'm taking my thoroughbred to a clinic on it in 2 weeks.
Oh, I'll be interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting, and I want to know more about it. I'm really more interested in this, but I want to know about everything I can.
Oh yeah, I'm the same way. I try to learn as many modalities as possible, and then find the ones that work best for me in my toolkit, right?
Right.
And so I'm a big believer that there's so much crossover in between them that just because I use my photopuncture and light therapy doesn't mean I never massage anything. This certainly doesn't.
What was that Diane was looking into?
I'm saying bionomy, but I have to.
Well, there's a school called orthobionomy.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, orthobionomy, which
orthobionomy.
Orthobionomy, and I am by no means. I took a couple of classes 20 years ago in how it works, but it's something if I were you, I would Google, and it's tied to releasing the tension through. And I'm probably completely butchering this. Releasing the tension in a specific area through finding the release points and allowing the body to find relaxation. I don't know if I'm saying that right at all. Okay, so please forgive me. I'm not. What is his name?
Well, I met with my friend a while ago, and not today. And what we're going to do is I'm going to scan. We're going to have a session with my guy. I'm going to scan him and then have her do her stuff on him, and then
Neat
to see what that will tell me.
Good. Yeah, biotomy. It's some people call it positional release. Some people call it like a non-force chiropractic. So it's tied to chiropractic and osteopathy. I believe that doctors of DOs, osteopathic physicians, I think it's one of the sessions that they have to go through is the orthobiotomy as well. So Did anybody have any specifics that they wanted to go into this week? Okay, well, I had a couple of pictures here, and I wanted to bring up. Ooh, that sounded like somebody flushed again. Oh, Erin's back. Hi, Erin.
Hi. Is it working now?
Yep. I could tell that sound.
I think it's the DVD drive, CD drive on my computer.
How exciting. So everybody,
Yep.
when it sounds like it's flushing, that's just Australia joining us.
Yep.
And so here I had, it was interesting because I've had a lot of questions lately about sensitivity on the scanner and why I am so fussy that I have people turn the sensitivity down. Okay, this was a class I did last year in Tulsa. It was like 110 degrees by early afternoon. It was well over 100 by 9 in the morning. And these poor horses, we had them in a barn with fans on them to keep them from being sweaty. There she goes. And
sorry.
That's okay. On our first day, we were getting scans like you see on the right. People were just learning how to even find the alert points when they would scan the horse, and they would get notification from the body of something different. And you can see a lot of points on this right hip of this horse. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. We can take the lights and we can treat all those points and release the energy in them. But it doesn't really give us a lot of information, okay? Here on the left, we have a horse that we scanned the next day. Different horse, but used similarly, same issues, a lot of the same stuff was going on, imbalanced hips and so on. And we narrowed it down and we found just a few points. And these came right down into some bladder points and master points for releasing the hindquarters. It was faster to do as you got done. So the first day, scans were taking us an hour, hour and a quarter. By day 4 or 5, scans were taking us 35 minutes. So as you learn to get more targeted with your scanning, as you turn down the sensitivity, and as you learn the sensitivity of the horse you're working on, you get better information. Okay? And if anybody's interested, what I would see over here on this horse on the right, this horse was very, very tight. And for those people who are doing scanning and looking at it, I would take this as an indication that I have a tightness down this muscle grouping and a tightness on this where it inserts down into the stifle. Okay? We also had some stuff going on down here, but just as an indication, if I needed to go quickly, I had all these points I needed to clear, I would probably treat by having my lights here. I would put one here, clear this line, and then put one here and clear this line. So I wouldn't have to treat all those points. And in general, that's usually going to clear it. I don't know who's banging in the background, but you guys are having just a symphony back there. Okay. Any questions on what you see here?
Well, how long do you hold those lights on?
I usually treat for 30 seconds at level 2 and 30 seconds at level 5. And that's where I start. And then I go back and I rescan to make sure all of those points have cleared. If they have not cleared, then I go back and I will try other things. I may try going and taking the points and connecting them up to the Bachwi to clear them. I may try going from 1 to 7 and then back to 5. Sometimes we have found that you may not find it at the trigger on the first time, or if it still doesn't clear, I'll figure out what meridian that point is on, and I'll clear the whole meridian. Okay, so most of what we're seeing here is bladder points. I would probably come down, I would bring a light down here to the end of the bladder meridian, and then I would, excuse me, so I would come down here to the end of the bladder meridian, and I would come up, and I would just do bladder points all the way up the horse till I came out to the corner of the eye.
So when you get done with,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Pardon me.
Go ahead.
When you get done with your treatment, then you go back and scan it again.
I always scan to make sure the points have cleared.
And okay.
Okay. That is very valuable. When a point doesn't clear, but in fact gets hotter, that's really great information. It's not right or wrong, but it's really good information. It could tell us something is systemic and really stuck. My default thing that I've come to where I really love doing is when something won't clear, I'll find the point that doesn't clear, and I'll take my other cluster head, and I will connect up to the spine. If I'm in the back, I will usually connect up to the bahui, which is, let's see, for those people who don't know acupuncture points. The bahui is that master point right between the two hips, right at the highest point of the hindquarters. I'm probably a little forward. There we go, right in here. Okay. So what I would do on this horse over here is I might put one. If this point here didn't clear, I would put one cluster here and one cluster here, and then do 30 seconds usually at whatever seems to be the right frequency, usually 2 and then 5. Okay, and then I'll go back and see if it cleared. See if I get any licking and chewing when that happens. If I'm in the front, depending on what's going on, if it's a shoulder point that doesn't clear, I may come in. This is one of my favorite points. Come here, and then I'll bring it up along to the spine, right here, behind the withers. There's a parasympathetic nerve bundle here, here, here. So depending on where I'm at, I'll take my second cluster head to the spine. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Aaron, I went ahead and I muted you because of the sound coming off of your machine. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them into the box. And Karen and I will try to keep our eyes open to see if try not to miss it. Any other questions? Did you get a chance, Diana, to rescan your horse?
No, I did give him 2 heat treatments during the week. I have a really bad shoulder problem, so if I'm by myself, I can't do the whole horse. So I have to have somebody there to help me with it. And I had a friend that was going to give me a hand today, but she couldn't make it. So.
Is that because you can't lift the lights up to the top of the horse? Or?
I can't reach high enough. Yeah, he's 17 hands, and I can't really reach high enough at some points. I mean, I can stand on a stool, but he gets really edgy when I do that. So.
I know that I had one other student that had a great deal of problems with tall horses and so on, and she ended up creating herself a stanchion that was basically a couple of bales of straw that, end to end, so that she could step up and get on top of the straw so she could get above the horse and she could lead the horse in.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And
yeah, he doesn't. He's really shy of any kind of noises. Like if I drag a ladder over to stand on a small ladder, he worries about that. He's really pretty quiet most of the time, but some things he just can't wrap his head around.
Yeah. If you can try making just like a little channel there between the wall and the straw, and just take him in and out of that a few times to get him used to that, and then he might stand for you to be able to work on him. Once he really understood what you were doing, he'd probably relax pretty well.
I did get the paw cap on him.
Oh, good.
And he handled that quite well. I was surprised, but I put that on each time I worked on him, and he handled that very well. But I will have a report for our next meeting.
Nice. Okay. Just wanted to check in and see how he's doing.
Yeah.
How's your scanning going, MJ?
Oh, it's going good. I need to send you the pictures for that Frisian because it was really interesting when I scanned his neck. Most of the points went right down his spine, right down the cervical vertebrae. And so I've had 2 sessions with him, and the chiropractor comes tomorrow, so I'll be really interested to see what he finds because the horse is just, I told you, he's a total mess. I mean, I turned the sensitivity down, and it just was screaming all the way, all over his body.
Poor horse.
But I know, poor thing. He's such a nice horse, but like you said, the lady does everything with him. She does dressage with him. She does driving with him. She does everything. So he's 8.
There are some other times, however, when every place you touch on a horse. Now, if it was, gee, you go along the spine, it screams, but when you don't, it doesn't. This doesn't apply. But there are those times where no matter how far down you turn the sensitivity, no matter how far up you turn, down you turn the gate, when you scan that horse, everything screams.
Yeah.
In my life, that comes into overload toxicity levels and almost a fibromyalgia.
Oh. Well, I will send you these pictures. I meant to do it before this call so we could kind of take a look at it, but my little dots are not as neat as yours are because these horses are so hairy that, right now,
sure.
I guess but so there's a lot of lines, but there were just times that it just screamed like all the way down his neck. I mean, it was just crazy, but
yeah.
And so when I send you the pictures, you can tell me if that's what you think he has, and then what to do. I had it set on 4, 5, and then 7. Does that sound reasonable? Or cause I was thinking the guy's in so much pain, I definitely wanted to use 7, and they were 20 seconds each.
I would start at 7. Okay.
Start at 7 with the first cycle. Okay.
And then what I would do is, when all else fails, get the bladder meridian clear.
I did that today, so I'm hoping that worked today. So.
Just start and that would be a horse, assuming that that's what's going on. And if this is the horse I had my hands on at the expo, it very likely could be the owner seemed to be an overdoer, right?
Yes.
If one supplement was good, 5 would be better. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know that she has a lot of different therapists. She likes doing lots of stuff, and then she's riding and everything. And I know she loves the horse almost too much. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to get someone like that to stop giving everything and give the body a chance to balance and clear and flush the kidneys and liver. But I would, once we're done with the classes up in Colorado, you'll be able to check the liver and kidneys very quickly and see if they're toxic. Okay. And that'll give you a huge clue. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm really looking forward to being able to do, because I stood back and looked at it and went, this just doesn't make any sense. This horse has just got, marks all over him. And she said the same thing, that when she did it at the Rocky Mountain Expo, the same thing. The horse had marks all over him.
Right. Which is where I would go into, because the bladder meridian is the master meridian. Okay, the bladder meridian controls every other organ, every other meridian on the body, right? So, hold on a second. If we come here, for those people, if you're on the call and you don't know what we mean by the bladder meridian, or you've never watched it or seen it, the bladder meridian runs from the end. Well, helps if I do what I was doing here. Runs from the inside corner of the eye up just along either side of the spine, along the top of the rib heads here, which is why those horses that are so hurt, if they're really toxic, then even putting a saddle on them hurts. Then it comes down the big muscle of the back leg, down the outside of the leg, and out. Okay? So when I'm saying to MJ that it would be really good to clear the bladder meridian, I would start with my lights, and I would go from here to here to here, just about the same thing we were just talking about, okay? And I'm just gonna continue to open, and I probably I'm gonna open with levels 1, 2, or 3. And what I'm talking about is the light frequencies in the system that we use. They pulse at different frequencies. We have 7 different pulse rates, and 1 is the most activating, and 7 is the most sedating, and 5 is balance. So I try to always end on 5. It's not crisis, it's not critical, but I usually start. I'm a big lover of level 2, but if I've got things that are really old and chronic, I'll even go to 1 and really, it's like gearing down to first in the truck, right? Really pushing hard in low gear. And then I'm going to come up, and I'm going to do this whole thing in 2. Then I'm going to do the whole thing in 5. And I'm going to do both sides of the body. And usually I'm going to, somewhere as I'm walking along through this on a really toxic horse, they're going to start peeing, pooping, sweating, drooling. You may see all sorts of different releases. You may see the skin start twitching like they have flies all over the place. Okay. The little DSLD mare that we had when she first came in, it was over a month. Karen, how long was it before we could actually scan Misty?
Oh, it was quite a few months.
It was
didn't
months.
Want to be touched.
She was so toxic when she got to us. It was months before we could scan her and not have the system screen
Get her
us.
up, walking first.
Yep. So every day we just walked out either with the lights or our hands. We started opening that bladder meridian, okay? And she reeked. Her big clue with this, if you've got one of these horses where every place you touch is screaming, go smell their last pile of manure, go smell their urine. Somebody's got sound in the back. Could you mute?
So, Kay, this horse's nose just started going like a hose. I mean, and then he started snorting everywhere and snotting everywhere. It was amazing. I mean, got some really good releases from this horse. So
awesome.
You know, by the end he was yawning, and you know his head was really low. He was enjoying it very much.
Right. So that's a really awesome clue. When we start clearing this, and we get huge amounts of snot, well, what does that tell us? It tells us lung and large intestine, right? The lungs are what's going to control all that mucus. So I would come right in here to the lung point, and I'd probably come in to large intestine, and those would be like the only thing I would do other than bladder for 1 or 2 treatments.
Okay.
Now that's if she'll let you do all this, right? It's really tough when you've got a new client and you don't know if they're really committed to sticking it out. But if you can educate them to the point where it's like, look, if this is screaming all the time, and you can go over, you can smell their urine. If there's a lot of ammonia, or if their manure is such that you get down 3 stalls and you can still smell it, then it's like and especially once you'll be able to show if the liver is toxic, if the kidneys are hot, you can say, look, we really need, show them how to clear the bladder meridian with their hands, okay? Just show them how to sweep it. It's one of the nicest things they can do for their horse when they come out to groom. Tell them before you start grooming, just open this bladder meridian on either side.
So what did you say to put it on to do that, to clear it, a 2?
I'm always 2 and then 5.
So 2, 5 for how long?
Oh, 20 or 30 seconds per.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I just come along here and. But
so today was my second treatment, and I didn't get a whole lot from him, but I'm hoping that's because a lot of it cleared. She said that we got so much from him the first day that it was, she was definitely sold on it.
Good.
And so she said he was really quiet the rest of the day. So, and then today he was pretty much, he was kind of dancing around. He really didn't want to kind of be there. So I really thought, well, instead of just treating all these points again, I'm just going to go ahead and do the ones that I think along the spine and the shoulder, and then I did the bladder meridian. And I'm just assuming that he just felt much better because we didn't have a whole lot of, signals from him that this was, but we'll see. I'm going to rescan him. Like I said, he gets chiropractic tomorrow, which I thought, that would be great because a lot of these points we did find along the cervical there.
Right.
And then I will work on him next week, and I'm probably going to, I'll rescan him again and see what cleared.
Okay.
But, I'm still kind of new at the whole what level, how long. Everything's been pretty much 20 seconds, but I am using all 3 cycles.
I usually go 30 so that I get at
30
least
seconds.
20 because you're going to have a few seconds in between moving spots.
Uh-huh.
So I usually am a 30-second person unless I have something really stubborn.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm a big believer. I start at 2 and 5. Okay. And and that's
2 and 5.
and 7 if I have something I know is in pain, obviously. Now,
well, and that's what I thought about this horse because he's got to be in pain with all this screaming that the machine was doing.
Yeah. And like I said, these are the horses where we see limited range of motion sometimes, or they'll do everything. Oh God, I'll go into frame, I'll do it, but their muscles are so tight all the time.
Right.
They just look in agony. And I consider it to be like a horse fibromyalgia, just a toxicity down to the cellular level. Erin asked how often with a horse like this. I would very much like to be able to scan at least weekly, and if I had my druthers, treat every 48 to 72 hours. If a horse came in for therapeutic work, if I had a horse that came in for some sort of serious issue, that would be my default go-to. Now, that doesn't work with everybody. I know that not all owners either A, have the time or the money to invest in coming back and having that done. But if they're in a barn where I'm at, I'll just make them a deal, or, if I'm going to be in the area, let's just do them every time I walk out. It's only going to take me 10, 15 minutes to retreat with the lights.
And that's kind of what I do. I do a 3-pack, and that's what I recommend, like a horse like this, within the first 10 days.
That'd be great.
Get me in there 3 times within the first 10 days, and I'm pretty sure that we can. And just with the experience, that's kind of what I felt like. Within 3 sessions within 10 days, you pretty much are good to go. And then I try to put them on a once-a-month maintenance program, unless things haven't happened, and then maybe we wait 2 weeks and we do it again.
Right.
But yeah, usually. Yeah, from my experience, 3 times was kind of like the lucky number. I think we're on a good track after that.
And one of the things I like to do when I have one of these horses that is just overall a mess, right? I want to quantify for the owner because it amazes to me how little some owners can see the problems, okay? And I will quantify it with carrot stretches. I'll just take and show the owner how far the horse is willing to bring their head to the right, to the left, just for a carrot with no pulling, without having to move its hindquarters. And, how is it able to bring its head down between its front feet to get a carrot or not? And so we just get an idea of range of motion. And then when I come out next time and it's greater, and next time and it's even greater, then the owner says, oh, wow, look at the difference. But they could see it. And it gives them a way of quantifying it.
Well, the funny thing is that she does all that, and the horse really, he cooperates pretty well for as much pain as it looks like he's in, because the only thing I really saw that was off was when he walked, his left hip was, the range of motion of his left hip was limited. So that's when, and then when I went over him with my hands, when I hit his left stifle and his left hock, he lifted his leg up. So I'm like, okay, well, we have a left hip issue, so maybe we were looking at the right shoulder kind of thing,
Right.
We're going to look at what the story tells. And sure enough, when I got to that right side, from the back of his ear all the way down through his shoulder was just, just practically. He's a black horse and he was green.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Aaron.
But he didn't have a lot of back end issues. Really, it was mostly shoulder, chest, and neck. But he did have that limited range of motion in the left hip. So, it made sense that diagonally we were looking at the right side.
Right.
And that's what the scanner showed me. And, it just kind of verified what we were saying.
Exactly. Aaron popped up with another question. She says, I use carrot stretches a lot. Do you like to show your clients where the horse's range of motion is at before actually treating the horse or between scanning and treating? Every session is a little bit different. There have been those, when the little voice says, I want to do it this way today, and it's different than my normal pattern, I'm going to do it. The most amazing stuff shows up. It's just like, huh? So I don't necessarily do carrot stretches every single time, but especially on horses where range of motion or balance side to side is an issue, I love doing carrot stretches because everybody can see it, as opposed to, I do a lot of stretches also with 2 fingers on the halter, very light asking of the head to turn, but not, then it becomes, well, you pulled harder on that side. Well, obviously, I know I didn't, or maybe I did and wasn't aware of it. With the carrot stretches, it really does come down to the horse's willingness to do it. And so it's not a bad idea. It depends on how rushed you are for time, of course. But especially with new clients, carrot stretches are a great way. If they have never sat, it amazes to me how many people have never seen them. Okay. Erin, I took you off. Oh, nope. There she is.
I'm there.
Hi, Erin.
Hi.
Any other questions?
Would you ever show the carrot stretches after treating?
You bet.
What's your opinion
Yeah,
on that?
definitely. Before and afters are a great way to
Okay.
do it. And just keep giving milestones. Quantification is huge for owners. They pay out when they see changes. Which is why, as we go and we get a lot of releases, whether it's the snot from the nose, like MJ was just talking about, or it's licking and chewing or farting and peeing, I always stop and point that out to the owners because they may not be paying attention. All right? I'm going to mute you again because your machine's is flushing again. All right, any other input, questions? Christy Savage, we have not met you before. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. I'm from Louisiana.
Oh, neat.
And I did talk to you on the phone several months ago, so I got on your mailing list, and I get your emails, and this is the first chance I've had to join you guys.
Well, good. Any comments or feedback or questions?
No, I'm just like absorbing everything at this point.
All right. Karen, you've been very...
I've got a question.
Okay, jump in.
When you made a statement about doing the Bladder Meridian with your hand before you start. How do you do that? Is it just a massage motion all the way down that meridian?
You don't even have to touch the horse. All you do is take the palms of your hands, the pericardium points, and you can run them lightly down the horse, or you can even just point them at the horse a couple of inches away. Some horses won't let you touch them yet, right? Especially these real ouchy, toxic ones. All you do is sweep the energy from the eye, down the spine, along the hindquarters, and off the bottom of the foot.
Okay, because on my thoroughbred, I saw on his right side, the issue that I'm having, I think, is in the shoulder on the left side, but on the right side, from the pole to the wither was all the way down the crest of the neck. Was hot, and from the dock of the tail all the way down to about 4 inches before you got to the hock was, I mean, making lots of noise. So I'm looking at that. That to me says that's all the way down, not all the way down that Bladder Meridian, but a big part of it.
Well, just as a clue, when I see point after point after point down this Bladder Meridian, okay, when I'm scanning, that tells me that horse needs to detox. They've been overwormed, they've been poisoned, not always, but or the water has something in it, or they got some hay in it. That is an idea. That channel, to me, when it's all clogged up, that means I need to detox the body, especially when I see it coming from here down. Okay? Now, up along here, or when it's the whole thing, it could be all sort. The clue comes in, where do we see our sensitivities? Where is it most hot? Because every other meridian, like I said, the lung meridian energetically connects here. The large intestine meridian energetically connects here. Every other meridian, heart, liver, large intestine, gallbladder, they all connect on this bladder meridian. Okay, most of it between here and here. And in my class, by the time you're done with my class, you'll be able to come in and just go, here's bladder 13, 14, 15, and this is what they belong to. Okay, and there are whole schools, like if you do the acupressure classes, the way you assess where the horse has a problem is by bringing your fingers along and finding the sensitivity on the bladder meridian. And they start by having you open up the meridian just with your hands, like I just talked about. You can do it with your hands, if you can do it with your machine. All right, either way is fine. But then, once it's activated, then things are a lot closer to the surface. If you work on a horse, you go out to scan and you can't get anything. Okay, nothing scanning on this horse. Maybe because it's cold. Maybe it's because, like when we were at Denver, we had a mare. It was the first day, and this horse was on overwhelm, and she had just shut down emotionally. Okay, she didn't even want to be there. So when we went to go scan her, we were not picking up anything. Okay, it's kind of embarrassing when you're doing a demo and your machine can't find anything. But there was, so when that happens, you can go in and you can open that bladder meridian and sweep it, and it'll bring all the energy to the body up and more close to the surface. Okay. Well, guys, we're at 45 minutes. If anybody else has a pressing question on what we're doing, jump in. All right, then. We will go, and definitely anybody who's got scans to MJ, get me those ones on that Frisian, and we'll throw them up on the screen. I'm interested to see how he looks.
All right, I almost got him ready to go.
All right, great, guys. Thanks for showing up. Glad you've been here.
Thank you.
Thank you.